Welcome to the Exposed Street Podcast with Jared Bidney. This episode, I'm just going to talk about stuff that pisses me off. And one of the first things that pisses me off is boot camp. And it's not necessarily even the boot camps themselves, it's the people. I was kind of scrolling through Facebook the other day and reading these people were saying, hey, where can I send my kid for athletic training? And this person recommended boot camp. First off, the people going to boot camp and boot camp's mentality is not for strength and conditioning, it's for weight loss. Like I said in the last episode, fitness versus performance. I'm a performance-based. Boot camp can be fitness-based. I'm not even competitive with them or a competitor for or with them or against them or whatever. It just pisses me off that the thought process of people thinks that, hey, you go to boot camp, yeah, you may be working out, but they're not concerned with strength and power. The only thing they're concerned with is calorie burn. And what it mainly should be is the only reason that people go there is to make up for the bad shit that they eat in the first place. You know, so you go in there and you burn a lot of calories. Oh, I'll burn all these calories, so now I can get my freaking ice cream. Wrong. You need to kind of, if you're going to do stuff, whether it's strength performance or boot camp or wherever type of fitness place you go to, you've got to follow a good diet. You know, if you want to have more muscle mass, you have to add more protein. You can eat pizza all day long, but the protein quality of that's low. So why put the wrong thing in your tank? And they're not concerned with the results as far as strength, power, and speed. They may lift weights, but they don't even know what strength is. You know, they don't even go to competitions. That's why I take all these kids to powerlifting competitions. And if you look at the history of the schools here, I'm kind of in between two counties. And guess what? I've had the strongest kids at the high schools in all those counties for years, but people don't even recognize it. That pisses me off. You know, I had strongest kids at these, I'm not going to name the schools. But what happens is these high schoolers or high school coaches, they'll oftentimes promote speed and agility and say that crap because they think they're taking care of the strength and conditioning. Wrong. And I'm going to go over that stuff as far as, I'll do it right now. There was these two kids. They were coming here last year. One of them started in January. One of them started in February of 2019. One kid started off running a 5.9. The next month he ran a 5.8. And I don't know why we didn't test him in April. So February, 5.9. March, 5.8. April did not test. In May, he ran a 5.5. 5.57. So we went from a 5.9 to a 5.5, February, March, April, and May in 4 months. And so last week or this past week, they came back for the first time. So Jared's going to do what? Jared's going to test to see, all right, they've been going to high school weight training. They've been playing sports. They've been working out. So let's see what happens. All right, let's throw a 40-yard dash, 5.52 and a 5.56. And we are in January of 2020. So the last time he tested was May. You know how aggravating that is? I am trying to show these people that you can get better and you can get better. So for what's that, 7, 8, wait, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, 8 months? Yeah. Did not change and you went and worked out? What the freak you working out for? Damn, you know, that's what I'm talking about. Just because you go to high school weight training don't mean you get the results. Yeah, hey Jared, look, they come here and learn some techniques from you and we're gonna send them to high school weight training. But we really need them to get faster. So let's go do some stupid speed and agility drills. The speed and agility drills only help if you have the power to produce the force in the drill. If you can do the drill, yeah, but the thing about the drills are they're not even timed. People half-ass go through the drills because they get tired of running. Most times people do that, they're getting tired of going. When they're doing speed agility, they don't feel like putting 100% effort in because they have to do like several different exercises. If I go out on the first one, by the time I get to the end, I'm not going to be where I need to be. Well, if you want to change your body, you've got to learn how to go all out. So if you're not maximizing or working on your rate of force development while you're doing those drills are going to do absolutely nothing for you. And I don't know if I've even talked about before, 95, and I forgot I should give these people a shout out, 95% of these people need to get stronger just in general. I wish I could give those people a shout out, but anyway, most people just need to get stronger. If you take your mass and you go from point A to point B. Well, to change direction in agility training, you have to be able to overcome your own body's inertia to change that direction. And if your legs cannot absorb the force of your moving mass going from point A to point B at an X rate of speed, there's no way in hell. That's why a lineman does not cut as quick as a running back. The lineman may be strong, he may squat 600, but he may weigh 400. The relative strength proportions are not there for them to be quick and agile. You got a running back that may weigh 220, but they're squatting 600. It's a big difference. So the biggest thing you can try to figure out is characteristics of elite people, elite sprinters. Years ago, I found that I was breaking down characteristics. What are these people? What characteristics do they have? So if I'm trying to make a recipe, what things am I lacking in order to make this recipe to be a success? And what it was is the average Olympic sprinter or high-class, world-class sprinter, what were their squat strengths? Well, the average, they were squatting about 440 and weighing about 176 pounds. So the average leg strength was 2.5 times their body weight. Then I keep digging into more research, and I found that those people who squat 2.1 times their body weight are significantly faster than those who squat 1.9 times their body weight. So if you're looking to change direction or start quicker in your 40-yard dash, your 10-yard dash, your sports. If you want to go from the 10-yard line to the 20-yard line, if you want to go from home to first or second to third, or even first to second, in a certain rate of speed, you have to be able to produce force very quickly. And the limiting factor is absolute strength on that, or relative body strength. Absolute strength don't matter as much as relative body strength. So anyway, got off on that rant. There's that one kid. Well, this other kid started in January, and they ended at about the same time because they got to start going through summer and stuff with the high school. Oh, I'm tired, and then they got to go through season and all that crap. So this kid went from a 5'6", 5'5", 5'4", 5'3". Perfect. That's what I like to see. And I tell you people all the time, it's about 1/10 of a second off the 40-yard dash per month is what I go for. And it may not always be perfectly 1/10. Sometimes they may go from a 5'6", 5'5", 5'5", 5'3". Sometimes they may repeat them 2 or 3 times. But if you calculate average out over time, it should average out to be about 1/10 of a second per month if things go right. So just to clear it up, this kid went from a 5'6", 5'6'7", 5.56, 5.45, and a 5.38. January, February, March, and May. I don't know what happened to April for both of those kids. So one kid went from a 21-inch vertical to a 26.1 vertical to a 27.8 vertical in a very short period of time. What does this kid's vertical do? Still low force, 19.3 to a 21.3. Not too good on the vertical over here on this other one. And sometimes that could be because they skip their dumbbell jumps. But anyway, so this kid went from a 5'6", 5'5", 5'4", 5'3", 21-inch vertical to a 27.8-inch vertical. And guess what? When he came back and I tested this past week, first time he's been back, he ran a 5.36 and a 5.40. Well, his last test day was a 5.38 and a 5.44. So almost identical 8 months later. Stuff like that is what aggravates me. Just because they go to school, just because they're squatting at school does not mean they're getting the same results we are here for squatting. And it's the rate of force development in which we're trying the effort behind the squats. Also sets and reps. If you're doing more than 6 reps, it will hinder strength development. As far as the force production, mainly in my thought process is force production. When you're trying to produce force, if you got 10 reps, most kids are not going to go all out on the first rep. They got 10 reps, they're going to pace themselves in order to get to freaking 10. Well, what do you have to do when on a football field? If you got to go from 0 to 60 at X rate of speed, you have to be able to produce that force very quickly from the start. And that's the problem, is that sometimes, like I had a kid from college text message me the other day and said, Jared, we did 6 sets of 12. I said, what the freak did you do that for? That's retarded. That may build some muscle tissue. Just because you're building muscle tissue does not mean you're building strength. And just because, like I said before, just because a muscle is a big muscle don't mean it's a strong muscle. And just because a muscle is small does not necessarily mean it's weak. You go back and scroll through Instagram, look at Colton, 190, 195, bench 405 for two, with the arms is probably about 15 and a half inches, if that. My forearm size is bigger than his biceps and triceps. And so it's just like, I learned a lot through the long way of, I did a lot of bodybuilding crap and I couldn't understand, and I got to a certain strength level on my own. And when people told me to quit doing bodybuilding, I didn't understand. I didn't have the education. I did not have the experience. Now I got the education and I have the experience of working with these kids and seeing over time what happens. So, but, you know, average people will get average results. You got an average thought process. I feel sorry for you. And just because some of these kids are average, don't mean they can't become out of the average into great or even better than great. It's that you have to give me time. You have to give the kid time. Like a kid's been coming here for about 2 years. And the other day, he just got it. And I spoke about this on a podcast. I don't know what last one was or whatever it was at. 5 sets of 5 is our hardest squat day. I like to monitor squat speeds with a Tendo device that allows me to see how fast that bar is moving in meters per second so that I can help coach that kid, or like what they'll do at high school. This is how I can beat. I like to win. I like to beat people. I don't like to lose. And if you're playing sports, you don't like to lose either. So you need to figure crap out. So what they'll do is sometimes, hey, this is high school coaches now. Hey, we got this program from Alabama. Well, guess what, Jackie? You don't have Alabama athletes. And most of the time, by the time they get to the collegiate level, the collegiate strength and conditioning coach is not concerned with getting those athletes any stronger or any faster. They care about getting them in shape, maintaining their strength, because if they get hurt, if they try, like when you're trying to force results, sometimes when you're trying to get an athlete better, things happen. You may inflame your SI joint. You may pop a rib head out. And when you do that, they can't practice that day unless they have a chiropractor immediately. But then they need to let that joint settle back down, get the inflammation out, then maybe the next day. And if I hurt 5, 6, what if I hurt some of the top end people on my team? I'm fired. So I'm not going to do anything that's going to jeopardize my job. As long as the kids are in shape, and as long as they're maintaining their strength, as long as they can produce on the field, that's all they care about. They're not trying to get the kid to go from a 5'6" to a 5'3". I am. It's my job to get them physically prepared so that they can play better in high school in hopes of getting a scholarship for the next level. You know, I've had some kids, hey Jared, they're college kids, we didn't even squat the entire semester. Well, your squat strength is going to go down, your speed may go down, or it may not even change. You may still, like these kids, just maintain a 5'3". But you got to get there first. You know, and you can't go somewhere where it's going to take a program, a copycat program that's going to last 6 weeks. And I was talking to someone today, that's the problem, is everybody wants to do like a 6-week program, 8-week program, or something like that. That ain't the way it works here. I use the Tendo unit so that I can monitor the squat speeds in order to figure out, oh, this kid's progressing at a faster rate than what, like say, per se, okay, give me a 4-week program. Give me 3 athletes. Well, athlete 1 is poking right along at the rate of progress with the program based off the squat speeds. Well, athlete number 2, he's adapting to the stimulus that we're giving him, the squats or whatever exercise we're doing, at a faster rate than the first person. So look, we may can skip a couple of weeks in that program in order to continue progressing that kid at his adaptation rate. Everybody has a different adaptation rate, how they respond to stress. So to give all your kids in school the same freaking program, only a third of them will probably improve. So it's 33% improvement rate that's going to follow right along with the program. What about the other 66%? So you got kid 1, follow along, boom, 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 how the program works. You got kid 2 that's adapting to the stimulus at a higher rate of speed. You can change and monitor his numbers, like I talked about before. I can get some kids to do their bench max for 3 reps within a 3-week time period. If they're following a high school program that someone printed off the freaking internet, 6 weeks, why wait 6 weeks when you can get it in 3? Why not try to pass someone that's ahead of you? Years ago, 2 kids going to high school, both of them benched 215. Well, one was coming to me, that kid went from 215 to 315. And the other kid went from 215 to 225. And this was, I think it was a whole semester, and they said, well, guess what? If we're friends and I kick your ass by that amount, you don't want me to be that much stronger than you. Hell, you want to actually be stronger than me, but now I'm a lot stronger than you, and you're going to wonder, where the hell am I going? Well, you know, it is what it is. You just can't print off a program like that. And what if you're that number 3, that third person, like when I said a while ago, person 1, person 2, and person 3? Well, shit, I do have kids in here that cannot handle the stimulus that I tried to start them off with, so I have to back up and go lighter on the loading parameters in order to get that kid to progress. I had a kid bench 115. I had to start him off at 75 pounds benching in order to get the technique right, in order for to gain more strength. You know, if you're benching 115, they say minimal strength requirements, and the minimum percentage you need required to lift is 80 to 85%. That's kind of where you need to start, then work your way up. Well, for some reason, this kid could not start there. Missed reps, too many reps, all the freaking time at the percentages I wanted to start him at. So I had to back up, then come forward. You know, sometimes you got to go backwards to come forward. Sometimes you got to go down to come up. Just physics. You got to push back to go forward. But, you know, it's kind of like, okay, what I do is not a percentage-based program. I may start you off in the 80 to 85% range. Then I jump around 5% percentages until I figure out where we need to go based off the speed of your bar. And I'm particularly talking about the squat. The bench press is a different animal. I don't have, the tendos will measure the bench, but I don't have them set to that low range of motion. You can set them to how many centimeters you want them to move, but I don't have them set that low. So I'm primarily talking today, when I'm talking about squatting. And so once I figure out their speed, you know, if this kid is moving this bar at this rate of speed, so he may come in and move it at 0.63 today, well, next time he's moving at a tenth of a second faster, whatever, from 0.6 to a 0.7, oh shoot, need to slow this kid down to 6, or maybe get him into 5 so that the 6s will get better wherever we're going. So you're constantly playing with everyone individually versus training everybody as a whole group. So that last person, I need to get this kid to progress, because at the end of the month, guess what? All these people have to test. They're paying me to get their kid better, and they want to see positive test results. Well, I wouldn't be in business very long if I gave everybody the same freaking program. You know, the way I attack the sets and reps can be different for everybody. We always don't do 5 sets 5. We always don't do 4 sets 3. We always don't do 6 sets of 2. We always don't. It depends on the kid and my eyeballs to look at the kid to figure out what we need to do in order to get this kid to progress. And most of the time when they come here, they care a lot about speed, wanting to get faster. Yeah, but sometimes the work to do it is not very fun, because it's the same shit over and over and over again. We're not squatting the same reps and stuff. We're not squatting at the same speeds. You know, for me, it's fun to come in here and try to beat my last day, my speed numbers. Like I just started squatting back a couple weeks ago. I do a pause squat. Personally, I do a pause squat with a safety squat bar. I go down, pause, and I accelerate. And I try to beat my numbers. So even on my last warm-up sets, whatever I did last time on my last warm-up set, I still try to beat it. It's just a sense of pride. If I got a 0.7, I want a 0.71. If I got a 0.72, I want a 0.73. And the tendo unit also makes me feel better on the days I feel like not doing anything. Like I said the other day, I said, damn, this feels heavy. I don't feel like, and I was benching on this day, and I was like, damn, this feels heavy. I don't feel like I got the power. But then when I got to my working sets and reps, they were easier than they were the last time, but I didn't monitor the speed on my bench. But I did monitor speed on my squat, and I beat it by, I went from a 0.58 to a 0.66 on my squat, the same freaking weight, same reps, but I only calculate the best speed of each set. So I did sets of 3, but the thing is, I came in and I beat it That's enjoyable to me. I may not want to freaking squat all the damn time, but in order to get my jump higher, I don't test my freaking 40 because I ain't doing that. I may work on my 10 yards and my 20s and just to try to show some of the kids that I can still outrun them. But the only way I can do that is because I can produce power at a high rate of speed in a short period of time. That's why it's very critical that we monitor squat speeds in order to get specific results with that. And so by monitoring that, that's how I'm able to progress kids at a fast rate. Why take all semester to go up 40 pounds when you'd be going up 10, 15 pounds a month? Don't make any damn sense to me. The kids' strengths are probably so slow gain that it's actually not helping their speed. Depends on which rate your strength is gained. Got off on that tangent. Don't know how loud, don't know where in the hell I was actually going to go, but don't follow a specific. That's why it's not good to go follow a program. Hey, look, we're going to do this program every year for this amount of time. It may take 6 weeks. Why hold a kid back? What about that kid that can't handle the stimulus that they're getting? Just take off weight and do it lighter? Yeah, you may have to, but then you need to figure out how to get that kid to catch up. What is the limiting factor holding that kid back in order to progress at which the rate of speed he needs to in order to get him caught up, if not even past some of these other people? So that's the biggest difference in how I kind of operate. You know, everybody comes in there, they're individualized. I coach all these freaking kids. And sometimes they're so weak, I just have to get them a little stronger in order so that I can help them. You know, and I'm not over the kids all the time. I have to once they get to a certain strength level and a certain maturity level, then I can become a consultant, and we're now communicating about what is and what is not working for you. But sometimes the younger kids, sometimes these ninth graders, even up to sophomores, mainly ninth grade and younger, they don't care. They just want, Jared, can I do something? Hey, Jared, can I max sedate? No, you don't. You saw your sets and reps and you don't want to freaking do them? No, we're not. We got to get your stuff done. And same things, some stuff will say around here, GYSD, get your shit done. You know, don't come ask Jared, what do I need to do? When I already wrote it for you, you're basically coming to ask me, what can I do besides what's on my folder? And if you're watching this, you can't see it through me talking on other stuff, but I've got folders spread out here. So if you see this on YouTube, you'll understand how you won't understand how I'm tracking, but you'll understand that everybody's got their own individual folder. And at the end of each month here, I test. I want to see if what I'm giving that kid is working in a positive fashion to help that kid become stronger, become faster, become more explosive, and that's by jumping ability. Working on some kid the other day, he was jumping a 9-foot broad jump. And he said, Jared, I can't get past 9. I shook my head at him. I said, no, look, walked him over there. I told him a few things. All of a sudden, 9.5 broad jump. He said, what kind of wizard shit was that? I said, just listen. And he did. Went up 5 inches just because I said something to him. Sometimes you can cue a kid and say something to a kid that's going to click. When it gets in their head, they understand. Then once they understand, they want to then get better at it and try to beat it over and over. But some of the young kids, they don't get it, but they can get stronger. So even if their adaptation rate or their strength gains are not outstanding, the biggest thing is that they're here, that they are getting stronger, even if it's 5 freaking pounds a month. Guess what? 5 pounds a month. 10 months later, 50 pounds. 1 year later, 60. 2 years later, that's 120. And if they start young enough, that 120 is going to be a lot higher than someone else will be later. And not only that, 2 years at 5 pounds, 120 pounds on your bench. You have learned the training process and kind of what it takes to get a result by that point in time. And you're going to learn how to fight harder than a beginner. So the 2 years that you spent with slow gains will become bigger gains later, and it will be harder for someone else to catch you down the line. Just like if you had a kid, he starts in 4th grade. By the time he's in 8th grade, he's already got 4 years of experience. If his bench went up 2.5 freaking pounds a month, that's 120 pounds in those 4 years. that the eighth grade kid with no experience is not going to have. And once you get to a certain point in time with your training, you're able to bite off bigger chunks of gains. And so it just depends on where you're going. And I'm going to give you an example here, like this one kid. If I've got my folders, lined up right. This kid came in March of 2018. This is the start date. He ran a 7:10. This kid started in August of 18, 5 months later. Well, guess what? The one that started in March went from a 7:1 to a 6:9 to a 6:8 to a 6:8 to a 6:8 to a 6:7. So he progressed. And sometimes, like if you see what I just read, that's a kid. This kid was 11 years old. Sometimes kids' training results come in blocks and not the precise 1/10 of a second per month, because they're still a freaking kid. But regardless of being a kid or not, he still was better 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months later. These kids over here that are in high school are no better 8 months later with outside weight training. This kid don't have weight training. That's what pisses me off and is aggravating. And I don't know how to get it to the people in my area. I know I've got people that listen to me on this podcast: Australia, Germany, Sweden, Chile, Portugal, Canada, all over. I mean, I looked the other day, United Kingdom, Germany, if I already said Germany, I think it was like 24 different countries. And that's good, and I hope that I can help people out there, because sometimes I just get on here and rant like I'm doing today, and I have no idea what direction I want to go. I just have points that I want to make along the process to try to help maybe someone think differently about what they're doing. So this kid progressed, came 5 months earlier than this kid over here. Well, this kid has been inconsistent. Inconsistent people piss me off. Sometimes these kids are not busting their ass all the time, but they are here. Again, they are kids. They're consistent. So let's go through something. This kid only got down to a 6.75. Started off at a 7.0. I'm at 7.1, 6.9, 6.8, 6.8, 6.8, 6.7. So 7.1, 6.9, 6.8, 6.8, 6.8, 6.7. 1, 0, 9, 8, 7, 6. Almost a 10th of a second per month on average if you calculate back out. This kid started off at a 7.2, 7.2. So he didn't improve immediately. Then a 7.0. So if you look at what I was telling you earlier, 7.2, 7.2, 7.0. Think about 7.2, 7.1, 7.0. Still average by that time the third month. There's my 1/10 of a second average. Next month, 7.0. Next month, 7.1. I don't know what the hell happened there. Then all of a sudden, a 6.9, then a 6.7, then a 6.6, then a 6.4. So for month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months later, he went from a 7.2 to a 6.4. So that's over a 10th of a second per month average, although sometimes the months were not perfect. So by the time we get to the kid's not been tested in a while. So anyway, this kid started in March of 18. This kid started 5 months later in 18. Well, we just tested this past week. So this kid's been here forever, since August of 18. We just tested. He was going from a 7.2, 7.29 and a 7.38 40-yard dash to a 5.5 to a 5.69 40-yard dash. 5.69 from a 7.2. Just a little over a year. So if August to August, he went from a 7.2. A year later, he went from a 7.2 to a 6'4" and a 6'2", from a 14-inch vertical to a 22.2-inch vertical. Now we're in January, he's gone from that 6'4" to that 5'6". He went from a 4'1" broad jump, now we're jumping 6'11". He's still a kid, 7th grader. Freaking nuts, all right? It may have not been perfect road to get from point A to point B, but we did go from a 7'2" to a 5'6", where this one kid has been coming inconsistently. We're in 2020. This kid's gone from a 7'1", guess what he tested at? A freaking 6'3". Not been coming. So what I want to say in that part is, this kid's older. And he's not gotten any faster, really. And so just because you get older does not mean you get faster. And I missed grabbing those 2 other brothers' folders that I wanted to make a point about. Because I had 2 other brothers that had been coming. And I tested them in last January 2019 versus January 2020, is that those 2 kids were 1/10 of a second worse in their 40-yard dash 1 year later. Just because that you get older does not necessarily mean you're going to get faster as a kid. If you get some training, you get faster. If you look at the National Strength and Conditioning Association, the biggest thing you can do for a kid is to get them stronger. Over and over and over, it shows running speed improves, jumping ability improves, agility improves. No shit, because you're able to handle forces a lot better than you could if you were freaking weak. You know, if you don't have the recipe to squat a certain relative strength, you're never going to get from point A to point B. Like those kids, they squatted. I had some kids coming the other day from my high school, squatted 5 sets of freaking 10. Horseshit. 5 sets of 10 is going to murder your legs. It's going to take them a lot longer to recover. And all that is doing is creating muscular mass, hypertrophy, muscular growth, size, whatever you want to say. They're making, the legs bigger. Don't do it with squatting, the main thing that's going to give you power production for something else. Do different exercises to add mass into body parts that will help. You know, you can do leg extensions, you can do front squat, you can do something, but we got to make sure when you put it together and you test each month, if you want to get the kids bigger and faster and stronger, do stuff to teach things. And I usually don't worry about muscular size a whole lot here, because guess what? The high schools take care of that for me. But the kids that go to high school and don't come here, they're just getting the muscular size and they don't get the strength performance, so they don't get the benefit of it. They're not going to get athletically faster. It's just like, man, I used to be faster than that kid. Yeah, well, that kid may have done something a little extra to outwork your butt, so now you're left in the freaking dust. These rants on getting strong. Another thing that pisses me off, well, let's look at this kid. This kid started off at a 7'4", and this is the middle child. This is this brother's older brother. Started off at the same time of year. This kid was actually slower than his younger brother. He actually ran a 7'4" 2 months in a row. He ran a 7'4", 7'4". Brother ran a 7'2", a 7'2". But let's go 7'4", 7'4", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", 6'8", 6'3", 6'1", 6'0". See, that could be, that kid was perfect. 7'4", 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 9, 8. Yeah, by the time he got to that 6'3", he should have been running a 6'8", but he ran a 6'3" if you want to do that 1/10 of a second average per month. Unless we get to 2020, I didn't go through and analyze and precisely write down everything. All I care is about, as I'm showing improvement. I've got a folder here that I show people, hey, this kid's gone from this to this. Guess what? These kids do not, these 2 that I'm talking about, do not work out at high school. It's only me. But I called them, told them we got to work on their arm size. I told them they had small S arm syndrome. So, but that's because I'm concerned about gaining that strength. Once I get the strength, then we can add the size or whatever to later. Because the gaining the strength would be like these other 2 in here that are gaining the size, be like these other 2. They may not get any faster, but we can add some size to them. All right, well, why not get them as fast as possible, then add the size to them later? Because sometimes if you can only ride, you only have one ass, you can't ride two horses. Okay, I learned that from Charles Poliquin. You have to focus on one thing, get that thing attacked, then switch to the next. You can't, and it's hard. So sometimes you may not get your adaptations at the rate at which you want to, but if you try to ride two horses with one ass, one may take off faster than the other, and you may be slow progress on one. Anyway, the kid's going from a 7.4 to a 5.57. Same, if you look through it at YouTube, same number of stickers on this side, same number. They've tested the same amount of times because their brothers or dad makes them come here all the time. And that's why Explosive has been successful, is because this parent, I've got a brother and a sister, and the brother's actually going to compete with me in a powerlifting competition. They come here all the time. I don't want to go, Dad. Well, tough, you better go. You got to go. Got another little girl. Didn't go to school because she was sick, but came here. Wasn't feeling well. Stayed up coughing all night. Guess what? You have to get the shit done. You have to. If you want to be better. Now look, you got, well, Jared, if they don't want to work, I don't want to spend the money to send them there because that's not, no, that's the wrong attitude. Their asses need to go to work. They're going to get better because we're going to monitor and get it done. Don't continue to give the kid what they want, or they're going to be sitting in your house at 26 years old still on your payroll. Get them off of it. And I got another example of another kid. High school sophomore, high school sophomore to high school junior year, did not come here. Came here years prior to that, and we went from a 6-something 40-yard dash down to a 5.1 40-yard dash. Guess what? Quit coming here for a year. The last time I tested him was 11 of 2017. Well, when he came back in 11 of 2018, I tested him. Just like these two goobers over here, he ran a 5.16 and a 5.23 in 2017. 2018, 12 months, 1 year later, 5.12, 5.15. So 5.16, 5.12, and a 5.15 is his best 40s. Ran a 5.16 in November 17, ran a 5.12 1 year later. Also went and did some speed and agility training. Well, guess what? His bench press stayed the same for 1 freaking year later. If you're not getting stronger, you will not get faster. Okay? Geez. And you know what? And I told someone the other day, is we hardly ever work on 40-yard dash starts, stances, and crap like that. I think it's worthless sometimes. I'm not getting these kids ready for a combine. I'm getting them ready to play a freaking high school sport. The kids, yeah, it's fun to go run because running a 10-yard dash or a 20-yard dash is much better than freaking squatting. So yeah, they'd much rather do that. Yeah, it's more fun. Well, shit, I'd rather be miserable and get better instead of have fun and stay the same. I hate staying the same. But anyway, so that kid stayed the same. These two kids stayed the same. Those two other brothers that got older, they got worse. This kid that ain't been coming here went from a 7.1 to a 6.3 from 2018 to January 2020. When these kids came later, 5 months later, went from a 7.2 to a 5.6, from a 7.4 to a 5.5. What did the other brother do? From a 6.8 to a 5.5. Well, guess what? They have to come here all the time. They're going to get better no matter what, just because the act of being here. Now, something else that's aggravating is that sometimes I accept teams to come here, and I've worked with softball teams, and I have worked with a lacrosse team, female lacrosse team. This is my 3rd year working with them, and I was trying to prove some things. Like I said, I hate to freaking lose, and so when I present myself with these challenges that people don't even know I present myself with, is the way the lacrosse team worked this year is we broke it up into session 1 and session 2, because during the fall sessions, some of the girls start basketball. So some of those girls that play basketball will go on to play lacrosse after basketball's over. So they didn't want to transition from here all at one session. So that's why we broke it up. And so some of the newbies can come in, and whoever they're trying to develop to get into this lacrosse program that's why it was broken up into 2 sessions. But here's what I did. Their bench press improvement. First session, bench press improvement, team average. And we're going to go through team averages here. The team average was 15.7 pounds on their bench press. Well, guess what? Session 2, team average was 16.67 pounds improvement on their bench press as a team average. Second session beat first session. Second session also had first session girls in it. So their rates in the first session was still progressed at the same and got double the results. So I had a girl that ran she had a 0.19 improvement in her 40-yard dash. Well, the next time she had a 0.16. So I had another girl, she was throwing a lacrosse ball. She improved 4 miles an hour in the first session and improved again another 4 miles an hour in the second session. So we were almost duplicating the results with the first session girls in the second session. And that's what makes the second session numbers even more impressive, is because not only did the girls get better in the first session, but they doubled the result in the second session, giving us a better number. We were able to beat what we did in the first session. Same number of months I worked with them. The 40-yard dash, team average, first session, 0.15, 15 yards per second. Second session, 0.17. First session vertical, 1.5 inch team average. Second session, 2.45 inches. Broad jump, 3.7 team average, first session. Broad jump, second session, 4.92 inches. Throwing speed, I measured the throwing speed of the lacrosse. 4.9 first session, 5.15 second session. So we beat in all the categories that I measured, they got better. I did measure squat in the first session. I did not get a chance to measure their squat strength improvement in the second session. The second session was kind of ending as Christmas time and stuff like that. And squats the last thing that I test and measure because I don't want to affect all the other stuff. But not only that, I had one girl improve her throwing speed 19 miles an hour. And I had some girls chunk off throwing speeds at one girl got 9, I had two different girls. First session, one girl improved, the most improved was 9 miles an hour. The second session, another girl improved 9 miles an hour, a different girl. But guess what? Their bench press went up 30 pounds. And I've talked about this before. Bench press is correlated with swing speed. Swing speed can be a golf club. My golf club swing speed in my driver head is 124, 125 miles an hour. The skill that I got to work on is driving the ball consistently. All right, I've got the strength and the speed. Now I just got to work on my consistency of my skill. And I've talked about that before. You've got to have the physical ability to produce the freaking speed. Then you got to go work on your skill. So you work on your physical ability as far as running, your strength, and your power. Then you go to your sporting skill and work on your skill to sharpen the skill. If you got one without the other, you're not going to go anywhere. You can have all kind of skill and lack physical ability to run the bases. Lack physical ability to hit the ball hard. You can hit the ball, make contact with it, but you don't have any freaking power. Guess what? You need to go shopping for some power, go to the damn gym and work out. You know, if you don't have the speed, go get the speed, because your skill set is good, but you can't run. Guess what? If you can't run, running more is not going to do anything for you. It's just like I got my car out there. I set up some cones and you take me out to a track somewhere and you put me on that track. I go for a month. I'm going to get a little bit better about driving that track. Month 2 comes along. Once I perfected that track after month 1, you think I'm going to get better month 2? What about month 3? What about month 4? 5? Hell no, I'm not going to get any freaking better. The only way to make my car faster, the fastest way to make my car faster is to increase its horsepower. Increase your human body force production if you need to go from point A to point B. Don't let someone sell you something based on your thought process. If you think, hey, they need more speed and agility, I said, do speed and agility. No, that's not what's limiting them from producing or having good speed and agility. It's their physical ability to change direction while moving. And if you cannot absorb the forces, you'll not be able to change that body's mass at an appropriate time in order to get back and react like you need to. So I hope I've gone over that. And sometimes, like I went over the lacrosse team just then with that. Well, I want to go over, sometimes I'll get softball girls, and this is how it all started off in the first place. I'll get softball girls come in, and they'll improve. This girl went from a 6'4", 6'3", 6'1", 6'1", 6'0", 5'9". Damn. But her throwing speed went from 50 miles an hour to 57 miles an hour. Softball throwing. We went from a 6'4" to a 5'9". 6 testing sessions. We went from a 16-inch vertical to a 24.6-inch vertical. Well, when you're coming here with a team, you show up with your team all the time. Guess what? You are consistent. You are consistent when you're with a team. When it's left up to your parents outside of team settings, you may not be as consistent. And once you are not consistent, it's not fun here all the time unless you make games up in your head. So, quit coming. She ran a 5'9", 5'99", and a 5'90", almost got another tenth of a second off. 5'97", so we're stuck there for a little bit. Then quit coming. Then we went from a 6 to a 6'0", went back to a 6'0", 6'0", 6'1", 6'0", 6'0". What happened is this started off in 2016. We went from a 6'4" to a 5'9", and from November of 2016 to June of 2017. Then July and August, did not come in July, came back in August, 5'9", so it didn't change. Then came back in September at 5'9". October, the season start, 6'0". Then did not come back till January, 6'0". February, 6'1". Did not test in January of 2019. February of 2019, 6'0". April of 2019, 6'0". And I went back through the computer system to figure out what the freak the problem. You know why? This person's folder here has got stickers from June, July, August, and November on there. 12 stickers fit on one side of the folder. And you've got stuff from June to November on one side, not working out enough, not here consistently, not like you were with the team, but then want to blame me for the results. That pisses me off. Jared, they're not showing up like they're supposed to. Then you get the people coming here, hey Jared, this person's going place down the street. Hey, and I said, what are they doing? Well, they're jumping on these things. They're doing bullshit. You can't compare me to someone else when you're not consistent. I hate that crap. So that pisses me off. Kids in track season. I was talking to a parent about this the other day. Kids in track season. Does one girl say, Jared, I'm going to track? I said, no, it's a waste of freaking time. Now, sometimes you go to a high school that has a good track program or a good track. Most of the time, they just overrun the crap out of the kids. I know when I had some of my own kids in school, they were fast, and the only reason I wanted them in track is to break the high school record. Um, but what would happen is they ran them a lot. They were in good shape. Um, the guy was supposed to be a good coach, but guess what? During track season, those kids lost 2/10 of a second on their 40-yard dash. The bad thing about that is that when track season is ending in May, guess what's happening in June and July? Football camps. They're trying to go to camps to impress these coaches because every time they go to football camp, they're running a 40-yard dash. Or you can be at you may be in the best shape, you may be able to do all the damn drills, but if they don't care about the 40, if they didn't care about the 40, they wouldn't be freaking testing it. So they test the 40 because they want to know what your speed is. And if you're not at your top end speed, you could wreck your chances of being where you need to be. But that's up for you to decide because I don't know. I'm not in these high school track programs. You know, I do know some things about track is a good track program will have great sprinters. But not only that, it's the structure of the track practice. Sometimes you have to work on and track, and especially I'm going to talk about the 100-meter because I don't give a shit about anything else past that because I'll care about that. Boom, we're playing sports. The sport with the longest field is going to be football. So 100 meters, you got to be able to finish that 100 meters quickly. And sometimes the 200 don't matter. All the 200s will be not bad, but 100 meters. You know, no field's gonna be larger than that in sports, so you got to learn how to accelerate. Well, you have an acceleration phase, you have a maintain phase, then you have a decel phase, and all of those are like if you want to look at the world-class sprinters, usually the acceleration phase is 65 meters out. So usually some athletes can accelerate out to 65 meters. Bolt, on the other hand, his ability to accelerate, his start was not that great, but his acceleration out to 70, 5 more meters. Well, when you got your maintain phase of about 15 meters, he would have a decel of 15 meters. Versus where the other people were maintain phase 15 meters, they had a deceleration phase of 20 meters. So that's where Bolt looks like he was still speeding up at the end when actually guys were still slowing down faster because their decel phase was longer. And sometimes a good track program will work on specific phases. All right, guys, let's work on our acceleration phase. Can we continue to accelerate out to 40? If you're in high school, it may be 40 meters. I don't have a clue because I've never really worked with kids like that. It would be interesting. All right, this kid can accelerate out to 35. This kid can accelerate out to 40. This kid can accelerate to 42. You figure out, and they're working on these different acceleration phases. All right, now how can we get out to that high end phase? Let's work on our maintain phase. We got to maintain that speed for 15 meters, 15 meters. Let's maintain that, and then you're just going to slow down after that. So you work on these different phases in training, especially if you're high end sprinters. When you see oftentimes the kids just go run 400 meters to get better at the 100 without breaking it down and work on specific phases. And there are books out there that do talk about the specific phases and how to work on attacking those in training. You know, I've tried to break that down here for the tread sled for some of the high school kids as far as, all right, tread sled is going to equate to this number of seconds, so we're going to work at this, we're going to try to do this and that, but did not have enough kids to stay with me long enough in order to figure out the results, so that kind of fluttered out. And, you know, if the kids are doing the 400 meters versus the 100 meters, we are adapted with different energy systems. And that's why I was going over with some Army guys the other day, is that they can all go, they had to complete a test, and to get 100% on that score, you need to complete that test in under 1 minute, 33 seconds. Well, most of the guys were at 2 minutes. Those guys are in a hell of a lot more shape than I am. But guess what they do? Army guys, they go out there and run all the time. But the running was not specific to the task at hand, which was an anaerobic activity. So what gave out on them? Their legs, their ability to buffer the lactic acid in the legs was not great because they don't train that energy system. You got your ATPCR energy system that's first, and I'm not going to go over the energy systems with you because that's not important. You just need to know that they did not train that specific energy system. And so after I got done watching and absorbing what they were doing, I started talking to them about how to train that, how to push that lactic acid threshold to the right. And for those of you thinking lactic acid is not the freaking soreness in the muscle the next day, lactic acid returns back down to baseline levels, or blood lactate returns back down to baseline levels within about an hour and a half after completion of exercise. You know, and some exercise videos maybe criticize me, blood lactate, lactate levels, lactic acid. Anyway, the shit when you're running at a high rate speed and your ass feels like it's about to bust, or your legs get so tight they can't move, that is blood lactate. And so when you have lactate build up in the muscle like that, it slows your legs down because it has to do with carbohydrate consumption. You're not getting enough oxygen to the working muscle for it to continue to contract at high rates of speed. So you get this buildup in the muscle tissue that slows down muscle contraction speed so that the body can get oxygen to that muscle that is working. And that is the buildup of lactic acid. And you can take blood lactate levels and stuff right after exercise. We did this in college. And then after an hour, or an hour and a half, I forgot the precise terms because I don't deal with exercise physiology labs like I used to, and it returns back to baseline levels. The soreness in the muscle the next day is due to microtrauma of the muscle tissue itself, not some lactic acid. So if you hear someone, hey, let's go get the lactic acid out of the system, I know somewhere that does training, they go do workouts in a pool to get the lactic acid out. Holy freak, how old are you? Where is your education? Where is your continuing education to know better than that? That's what pisses me off. And guess what? They're going to continue to prey on people that think lactic acid is a soreness in the muscle next day. Oh, yeah. They're going to have a great conversation with you because you believe the same thing. They're not going to spend time to try to re-educate you because it's too damn hard. It's too damn hard to re-educate someone that don't know any freaking difference. So that's my rant on different energy systems. That's my rant on track. You know, if you want to go out there and you want to run 100 meters, you know, I've heard some people say some people want to take 2 or 3 breaths within 100 meters because it's over so damn quick. A fast 100 meters, 9 seconds, 10. Some of these high school kids are running 11. You don't need to take but about 2 breaths. And you got some kids, well, guess what? Hyperventilating, you're not even getting, you're breathing in and out so fast, you're not even getting oxygen to the muscle anyway. And to try to teach someone and make them believe that, you would have to sit there and show them computer screens of these people that are breathing when they're doing this stuff, but they don't believe that. They believe what the freaking people tell them because that's how people grow up and that's where our thought process came from. No one's tried to re-educate the people. All right, let's go on this right here. This one kid, I'll go over that some stuff later. But anyway, there's a lot of crap I want to talk about. I may do 2 more podcasts this weekend because I need to get some information out there, and hopefully that I put out here helps people. You know, I would like to educate the people in my local area because they need it. But guess what? They may not listen to my podcast. They don't come to my gym. People don't like Jared. Some people love Jared. You know what? I'm not out to please everybody. I want the people that want to work and want to get better to come here. If they're into fitness and wanting to be in shape and all that other crap, see ya. My primary thing is you don't sell something on someone what they believe, or con them in to believe it, to continue in their own thought process. Change their thought process, educate them on what is and what is not right. And I was trying to talk to a kid the other day. He said, Jared, we tested his 40-yard dash, and he was not happy with his time. Well, we were regular squatting the kid, trying to get him to 5, maybe 600 pounds. He's squatted 500, try to get it up higher, try to squat as much humanly weight as possible. And I said, what's the point? I said, you're going to college. He's got to get ready to go to college and play football. What's the point in squatting 600, or just say 600 because I already squatted 5, so 500 don't matter anymore because if you've done 5, you've got to get to 6. But like I've said before, if you listen to the episodes of Why We Box Squat, and I'm going to get into this right here in just a second, 315 to 405 box squat. His 40 was not happy. He was not happy with his 40 because we were regular squatting, trying to get him strong. He wants to be as strong as possible regular squat. Well, guess what they do at college? Most of the colleges do not box squat. Guess what they do in high school? They do not box squat. So the kid wants to be good at what they do at school. Understandable. Okay? But think about this. A shitty kid that squats 405 that can move faster will play. So I told him, he said, Jared, what should I do? I said, well, you need to get faster. I said, there's no point in going to 5 to 600 if it's not going to help your speed. And I said, we need to start squatting with a tendo. We need to start box squatting. Box squatting is going to be the only way to make your 40 chop off like we need to. Your alignment, you have to be able to get from here to 2 to 3 yards over at the snap of a finger. And if you can't do that, and that weaker person under you can, you may be stronger, but you're not going to play. So we need to increase your strength in a fashion that's going to help you play your sport. And sometimes box squat's not fun. It will inflame your back. Your back, your body don't want to get better. Your body wants to maintain homeostasis. It does not want to change. So when you try to force your damn body to change, shit's going to inflame on you. If you figure out how to get rid of the inflammation and the aches and the pains, we can still progress. Done it? Putting your kids out there to do it. We're like I said, we're like Humpty Dumpty. We can be put back together again. You're not in here dying. Anyway, so I told him, we got to work on your box squat. We're going to work on box squat all February. And we're going to try to get that 40-yard dash back down to what it was a year and a half ago. Well, I tried to tell the kid not to play lacrosse last year, but he freaking did. And he's a football player. He's not a damn lacrosse player. He wants to play because of his friends. Screw your friends. Sometimes your high school buddies won't always be your buddies. And so then I gave him this example. I had 2 kids that came in. And one of the kids is one I was talking about over here earlier in this podcast, where the kid went from running, he ran a 5.1 November 2017, ran a 5.1 in November of 2018. A year later, same damn speed. Worked out, did speed training, horseshit. People don't measure results. People don't have the data I do. Month after month, kid after kid, time after time, I see it. And you know what another thing is? It's me at this gym. I don't have 5 different employees working with this group of kids. Other places around here, around my area, they hire people to train the kids for them. Well, guess what? The person you hired often, if it's your business, does not have the same passion for your business as you do. Sometimes they may not care about the kids like you do. Sometimes they may care about the kids, but they may not know how to train like you do. So, especially if you're hiring someone to work with young athletes and you're a facility owner, sometimes you don't have the income to pay them what they need to want or what they need in order for them to stay for a long period of time. Gyms down here, turnover rate. They have, I heard this, some kids, Jared, they always have a different trainer in there. Well, what if this kid right here that went from a 7.4 to a 5.5 had a different trainer every time he came in? We would slow the result process way down. They may do some cool shit. They may do some stuff that looks cool, that may be challenging as an exercise, but it does zero to little, it does nothing for you. Nothing. It's not about the exercise, it's about the method behind the exercise. And if you're doing some cool ass exercise that has no method behind it, you're doing a double negative, you're doing a double nothing, you're doing a bunch of shit. Looks cool. Yeah, it works the muscle. Hey, I feel it right here. Yeah, just because you feel it does not mean it's going to produce a result. Just like, what can they go to school and squat? And I squat here, but yet they get faster here, they don't get faster there. Answer that. And this kid, let's go with this kid. There's another kid that wanted to go to school, and Jared, this is what we do at school. I want a regular squat here. Okay. Do you care about your running speed? No. All right. Do you care about your running speed? No, Jared, I don't care about my running speed. Okay. Well, guess what? Jared's ability to increase strength in these people is very good. 3 600-pound squatters I've had. 12 or more 500-pound squatters. 13 400-pound plus high school benchers. Some of them double body weight competition. We're not just benching in the gym, benching. We're going to competition and getting double body weight as well. 24 40 plus inch vertical jumpers. I know how to train people. I train people. I work with people. I get people better. I'm not a trainer that posts on Instagram all this cool shit and trains no one. A lot of people will promote that this training style, this training method, do this, do that. But guess what? They don't train anybody. I'm not calling any freaking names, but they don't train anybody. Anyway, this kid wanted to get stronger. Okay, I want you to get faster. Don't come in here and just get stronger. I want fast. I need strength because I want to prove that we go to powerlifting competitions to prove that our teenagers outlive these grown-ass adults. That's the reason. You know, another thing, I like going to we get drug tested. I love for my athletes to get drug tested. When you're drug tested, people think you're on drugs, and therefore they think you are strong. I love taking pictures of them and posting that crap. Because if you get drug tested, people think you're strong, and that's a good thing because no one wants to be freaking weak. Let's get back to this kid over here. All right, reassurance. You don't care about your running speed. No, Jared. Well, guess what? This kid came with his friend. The friend was the one that ran a 5.140, same thing for a damn year later. Well, the kid that went from a 5.1, he went to a 4.7. The kid, guess what? The one that got faster, guess what we did? We box squatted. We went from a 315 box squat to a 405 box squat. Both kids used the Tendo unit. The kid that did the regular squat went from 315 to 405, regular squat, Tendoed his stuff. We monitored and measured his speeds. But I'd have to pull this folder. 5 months later, guess what? 5.1, he was fluctuating between a 5.1 and a 5.2 40-yard dash. When you're regular squatting, you're not manipulating the nervous system like it needs to be. When you box squat, it's a static, dynamic method. A stop, static, still, stop, pause, whatever word you want to use, overcome by compensatory acceleration. Maximum acceleration. Dynamic, quick acceleration. So when you sit on a box, boom, you stand up and you're measuring with a Tendo, so you are knowing that your strength speed is moving because it's measuring you from from point A to point B. Now, what I tell you I did earlier, I pause squat. I can get the same results for myself with a pause squat. I do a pause, take the squat bar, pause squat. My vertical jump, a couple of years ago, I've not jumped like I should. I should just probably train it to 40. Maybe I'll try to jump to 40 at 40, prove some people wrong, or just do it just to do it. The thing is my body says F you a lot more now than it did then. That's what I got to try to figure out as an older age person, is how not to get the finger thrown at me by my body. My body just says, F you, Jared, you ain't doing this. I inflamed my IT bands because I don't listen to myself sometimes. You know, and just told, if you're scared to get hurt, you ain't never going to get stronger. I'm not scared to get hurt. Blew off my damn elbow. You know, went to chiropractor, make sure I didn't have a herniated disc. My back was killing me. So, well, if disc ain't herniated, I'm going to blow my back out because I'm going to go freaking squat. Guess what? Jared squatted, went down, back popped, and it felt good. So I had been hurt so bad, come in, sometimes squat, something cracks, feel better, I move on. And you know, I'm not trying to be average either. That's my thought process, is not average. Average people get average results, remember? So that's what I was telling that kid. Both of them improved their squat from a 315 to 405. Both of them used the Tendo and monitored their speeds. But guess what? One used a method, which was the static dynamic method. One just did regular down and up. Reactive strength versus explosive strength. And so when you have to accelerate, the static dynamic method will be superior to the other methods needed in order to get faster. Now, some of the kids that come in here, we will regular squat them. Regular squat will build structure. And sometimes the little kids don't change like they should. And sometimes the parents observing don't know what they should in order to understand what it is that I'm doing. Oh, he's just squatting little Johnny. Well, I'll go home and I'll buy us a squat rack and I'll just squat little Johnny. Well, you don't realize that 3 months from now, next month from now, or 2 weeks from now, I may be box squatting little Johnny. I have to build structure and integrity into a kid because the box squat, you are still pressing your spine between the immovable bar and the immovable box. And if they can't do a regular squat properly, sometimes doing a box squat may not be at their best interest because a kid, remember I deal with kids, I'm not dealing with this adult population out there. The kids will just be lazy, plop down on the box. Well, if they can't maintain control in a regular squat, they're sure as hell not going to maintain control in the box squats because, oh shit, I got a chair I can sit in. Boom, plop, boom. Oh, there goes their back. So what I'll do is if the kid's weak, I will build the structure first. Once I think they're ready to handle the load of the box squat, because some of these kids are short, so they can squat more on the box, which makes them feel like they're cool, when it's not necessarily the case. That's why sometimes it is about strength. It is about strength. It's about relative strength. But sometimes it's not. If we don't, how do you say this? Because I will contradict myself on certain things because it depends on the situation in which I'm talking. I do let kids get away with bad form, but that may be for this reason here. But I may want this kid to have good form because it's for this reason here. It's not all laid out into a cookie cutter fashion. Yes or no? No. It is individually planned based off how that kid's personality is too. You just don't come in here and make up shit. I tell everybody to box squat. Well, if you look in here, I got people front squatting. I got people front squat box squatting. I got people regular squatting. I got people box squatting back with a bar in the back. I got people box squatting with a safety squat bar, and you got Jared over here, Paul's safety squat bar. They got their folders so I know where they're going. And guess what? At the back of the folders, they have testing stickers at the end of each month so that I can see if what I'm giving them is working for what it needs to be for them. But sometimes, like I said earlier, some of these kids are so damn weak that they may have to start off with the basics. So you can't take little Johnny home, buy a squat rack, and develop them like you need to because you don't know. You don't know what's planned ahead. And I don't either because little Johnny may only come here for 1 month. But some of the kids that I think would be here for a while are in and out. And some kids I think that won't be here very long are still with me. And I appreciate you. I appreciate the kids. I appreciate the parents that make their kids come when they don't want to come. It takes them, it takes me. The kid will develop and grow into it. They always don't have to like it. Do you send them to school? They don't. Did I like going to school? Hell no. Did you like going to school? No. You more likely did not like going to school. Guess what? Your parents made you. They made you do shit that you didn't want to do. You may have had to do the dishes. You want to do the dishes? Nope. No one does. Do you want to take out trash? Nope. No one does. Do you want to go to work every day now? Oh, I like coming here. I've had some jobs I hated going to every day, but I actually love my gym. I actually love the people that come here. I get frustrated with some of them. I get frustrated with the people that don't believe in the training process, that think they need to jump from this place to that place. But I enjoy what I do. I get excited to see if they're improving. I've got kids that are stronger than me. I had this one kid, he only came last year, he was only coming twice a week. Now he's coming 2 or 3 days a week. As an 8th grader, he ran a 4.940 on this. I couldn't do that shit. I want people to beat what I did at that point in time because I was pretty damn strong. I was never as explosive. I am more explosive now than I was in high school and college. I can jump higher than I ever jumped when I was in college. I bench more. I squat more. I broad jump further. I do more pull-ups. I got stronger. Everything is better now at my older age. But if I put on football pads, I've not been used to that impact, I'd freaking be crushed. So if I could go back and train my younger self with my thought process, I would have been pretty good. And all I want to do is help these kids be better than what I was and be better than what I could have been. I go home, I study this crap. I look to see, or I read this. Well, guess what? I test that to see if it's working. You know, some kids say, hey, Jared, look, I've been doing this at college, or I've been doing this, and I feel better. But guess what happens when I test them? The performance numbers. The NFL Combine's coming up. You get someone who runs a crappy 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine, they can lose their draft stock. You know, and I probably didn't even get to this earlier. When I test a 40-yard dash, I don't hammer running mechanics at all. I try not to even worry about that, because if I get them stronger without manipulating the way they run or their technical aspect, that is true speed. That speed's going to transfer to the field. You know, are they going to have perfect running when they have a glove in one hand and trying to chase a fly ball? No. Are they going to be running perfect when they have football pads on? No. Are they going to be running perfect when they have a lacrosse stick in their hands? No. So why spend time trying to train the body and manipulate the body in order to have proper running mechanics that's only suitable for track? It does not make any sense. What do you need in sports? The National Strength Conditioning Association, you have, most time in sports, you are spent accelerating, overcoming your own body's inertia as quickly as possible. So they never even get to use the running mechanics that they're taught to them at these speed places who are doing the speed and agility drills. Never get to it. If you look at people doing the freaking ladder, burn that bitch. The ladder, your hips and knees never, and ankles never extend during the ladder drill. Quick feet. You're moving your quick feet, but so was the damn road runner, and he went nowhere. If you're not breaking the biomechanics down of this crap, you're leaving a lot of information and a lot of potential on the floor. So I'll talk some more later. I've already talked long enough. I'll do some more, talk about some bench press and things like that on the next podcast. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. Please follow me on Instagram at ExplosiveMEC or Explosive Mechanics. Twitter's Explosive MEC. Emails info@explosivemechanics.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.